What if I told you a boy who couldn't walk, ran over 1,000 races, including the Ironman Triathlon? What if I told you that every time he crossed the finish line, it was in the arms of someone who never gave up on him? This is not a movie. This is not fiction. This is the real story of Rick Hoyt, born with cerebral palsy, unable to move, unable to speak, and his father, Dick Hoyt, who turned into his legs, his arms, his voice, and his hero. Together, they became Team Hoyt, and they ran, not for medals, but to prove one thing to the world. Yes, you can. Rick Hoyt was born in Winchester, Massachusetts in 1962. The umbilical cord was wrapped tightly around his neck during birth, cutting off oxygen to his brain. Doctors delivered a devastating sentence. Your son is a vegetable. He will never walk. He will never talk. They said he would never live a meaningful life. They recommended placing him in a care institution. But his parents, Dick and Judy Hoyt, refused. We see a spark in his eyes, they said. They brought Rick home. They fed him, held him, read to him, just like any other child. But inside, Rick was trapped, his body motionless, his mouth unable to form words. Still, he was aware of everything. When Rick was 11, his parents fought to get him a computer to help him communicate. Engineers built a custom device where Rick could move a cursor with a slight tilt of his head. The first sentence he typed? "Go Bruins!" A cheer for the Boston hockey team. Everyone in the room cried. It was the proof they needed. Rick's mind was sharp. His spirit was alive. Now able to speak through this computer, Rick went to school, then high school, then college. But one moment changed everything. In 1977, Rick heard about a charity 5-mile run for a local boy who had become paralyzed. He typed out a request that would change both their lives. "Dad, I want to run in that race." Dick was 36 years old. He wasn't a runner. He wasn't an athlete, but he said yes. He pushed Rick's wheelchair for 5 miles. And when they finished, Rick typed something that made Dick's heart stop. "Dad, when I'm running, I feel like I'm not handicapped anymore." That one sentence lit a fire in Dick Hoyt's heart. He decided, then and there, if that's what running does for my son, we're going to keep running. So he trained. He ran every day, sometimes with a bag of cement in Rick's chair when Rick wasn't there. He pushed himself through snow, rain, fatigue. He wasn't doing it for fitness. He was doing it for freedom. Rick's freedom. In the years to come, they ran 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathons, and full marathons. They became known as Team Hoyt. At every starting line, people stared. Some questioned them, some doubted them, but they always finished, together. But Dick and Rick weren't finished. They set their eyes on the Ironman Triathlon. For those who don't know, the Ironman is one of the toughest races on Earth. 2.4-mile swim, 112-mile bike ride, 26.2-mile marathon run. Rick couldn't swim. He couldn't bike. He couldn't run. But Dick could. During the swim, Dick tied a rope around his waist and pulled Rick in a boat. During the bike ride, Rick sat in a custom-made seat attached to the handlebars. During the run, he was back in the wheelchair. It took them over 14 hours. But they crossed the finish line, together. And that image of a father pushing his son through fire and pain became a symbol of what love, determination, and belief can do. People asked Dick Hoyt, "Why do you do it?" His answer was simple: "Because Rick is my son, and he deserves the chance to feel alive." They didn't run for fame. They didn't run for records. They ran for each other. Together, they completed 32 Boston marathons, over 1,100 races in total, multiple triathlons, duathlons, and cycling events. Rick graduated from Boston University, earned a degree in special education, and lived a full life because of his father's belief. In 2013, a bronze statue of Team Hoyt was erected at the Boston Marathon starting line. Not because they were the fastest, but because they were the strongest. In 2014, Dick Hoyt announced he was retiring from running due to health issues, that Boston Marathon was their last race together. As they crossed the finish line one final time, crowds cheered, tears flowed, and the world stood in awe of what this father and son had accomplished. In 2021, Dick Hoyt passed away at the age of 80. He left behind a legacy not of medals, but of moments that changed hearts across the world. Rick Hoyt passed away in 2023, 2 years later. They are now gone. But Team Hoyt lives on in every person who refuses to give up, in every father who believes in his child, in every soul who hears "you can't" and answers, "Yes, I can." If this story touched your heart, if it made you believe a little more in love, resilience, and the human spirit, then do what Team Hoyt would want. Never give up. Never say, "I can't." And always believe in someone, especially when they don't believe in themselves. Like this video if it moved you. Subscribe for more real, inspiring stories that deserve to be heard. And comment below, "Yes, you can," if you believe we're all capable of greatness. Because Team Hoyt proved something the world will never forget. The body may be limited, but the heart has no limits.